Well, thanks for joining us on BloombergQuint. Joining me is Gillian Tant. She's the chairwoman for Booking.com. Gillian, thank you so much for your time and joining us today.
Thank you.
I'll start with, Booking.com has completed nearly 7 years in the country. Give me a sense of how are you growing here and how important is India really for you?
Yeah, so India is an important growth market for Booking.com, and we have been building out our inventory first in first-tier cities. Now we're in second, third-tier cities. We're still adding a lot of inventory. We have 55,000 properties listed on Booking.com in India today. We have 80 people on the ground. We have 4 offices, so we keep investing and expanding in this country.
But how do you aim to create your niche? Because you have to stand out in this market. You've already spent 7 years here. Yeah. But how do you make it a very large and important market for you at the same time?
Yeah, so I think if you think about Booking.com and our expertise, so first we started off in hotels, but then we were expanding into different type of accommodations. So now we have, in India, we have over 20 categories of property types, which is quite unique if you think about that. So you see that from an accommodation offering, we are very complete as to what we offer to consumers. And then if you think about the experience or the customer experience that Booking has built and has been successful with all over the years, we see also in India that is very successful. So of course it is a niche. I'm not sure I would call it a niche, because if you think about the size that we are today, we're actually a very important player for the Indian market and for the Indian consumers. I think competition is very healthy. It also shows the potential in a market like this. So because Booking is never the only company in that travel is a very big category. It's I mean, I think it's 10% of GDP in the world today. It creates a huge amount of jobs. So there's a lot of opportunity for many companies to operate in.
And then where does India fit in terms of a global market? In terms of revenue and user base as well, where does India stand out in the rankings as well?
Yeah, so that's something that people always want to know. We don't really disclose this information, but like I said, it's a very important growth market for Booking. We see also in the amount of alternative listings is the fastest growing. We had over the past 2 years 68% growth in these type of accommodations. So you see on a lot of these numbers that there's a lot of potential, and but we don't give out rankings in Booking on countries in the world. But I think if you think about travel and tourism, and that also shows for India, I think India over the past 7 years is ranked within the top 3 of fastest growing markets within travel and tourism, and these numbers are publicly known. So you see that yeah, it is climbing up, but it's still it's not there yet.
And if you want to also touch upon the challenges you are facing in India, you have been here for a long time. You have seen the market evolve. You have seen more players coming in, going out, and getting bigger as well.
Yeah, no, we see that as well. I mean, the mobile penetration is big in India. It's over 500 million users, I think, today, and we see that in Booking.com as well. So. And we see that trend everywhere in the world, but also on Booking in India, over 50% is booked on a mobile device, and and that development keeps growing. And you need to make sure you adjust your product for that as well. So we have a lighter version of our app in India, for instance. So there's many adjustments we make for this market.
Any sense of where you see the traction coming from? Where are these users coming from in India? Is it all big tier 1 towns, or you're also seeing a large traction for smaller tier 2, tier 3 towns as well?
Yeah, so we do see the biggest growth we see now coming out of second and third tier cities.
Okay.
And that's also where we're expanding, building out the most supply. So the growth in supply is coming from these destinations as well. But that's where you see a lot of growth coming from.
And how are you tapping into those markets?
Yeah, so we are tapping into these markets. So we have a lot of marketing activities in India as well, which you see really taps into the domestic market. If you think about banks, airlines, and this is also where we actually provide these type of properties in these type of destinations.
Right, and you haven't really brought all of your offering to India yet. You launched a flight ticket as well. There's an experience service as well.
Yes.
Why is the inhibition? Do you think Indian market is not ready for it? or is that a part of the strategy?
No, it's part of the strategy. I think if you think about Booking.com, we've always, we launch, we learn, and then we expand. And many of these products we started in Europe, and then we expanded to all parts of the world. And that's what you see with these products as well. So I don't expect it will take very long. But yeah, you just need to prioritize. You cannot, I mean, Booking is very global. We operate in over 230 countries and territories. There's not so many countries, but it is so global that it's very hard to
But
start
any timeline we can see other features also coming to India?
Yeah, I would say soon, but I don't know exactly the date, but I don't think it will take very long.
And any sense of the kind of investment also you're making in India, given that untapped big market for you? How are you spending? Where are you spending?
Yeah, so that's also not something that we disclose, but yeah, we are having a bigger budget for India, but it's not that we disclose exactly where do we put our money. That's not something that we...
And Booking, in travel as well, you've seen players' strategy basically has been deep discounting, which Booking hasn't been doing in any of the countries. Discounting is not your forte. How do you create a market opportunity for you? What's your recipe for expanding and becoming so global?
Yeah, so price is also for Booking an important part, even though we might not use all of the tactics that many other companies are using today, but you see it more and more on Booking as well. We have different rate types on Booking, which we have a mobile rate, so there's lots of discounting programs available. We have our Genius program, which has a lot of discounts. So we do provide a lot of discounts that might not always showcase because it's the way we present these rates, but yeah, it's not that we're not focused on price. Price is a big focus point, which many people also in this office are working on every day.
Right, and we have seen, you spoke about OYO as well. That's also been a sort of a global ambition program as well. Yeah. You have been there, you have done that, you have achieved that. How easy or difficult it is to do that, to achieve global aspiration, to have so many options? And at one point of time, is there a fear such big a giant could also be a competition for you? Right now they are part of your inventory.
Yeah, I think OYO has been a partner for us since they started. I think OYO is very focused on building out an accommodation network. That's not an area where Booking sits, so I think it's very complementary to each other. Because you need to make choices as a business, because even if you think about what Booking does and the expertise we build in the customer experience and in marketing, or you really go into property software or running accommodations, these two things are very different. So, and to do that all, I think, will be very difficult to be successful. And I think OYO has built their expertise in running these properties, and that's what they're expanding all over the world. And I think once you have that and you're good at that, then you can scale. And Booking has scaled, really the customer experience and reaching customers all over the world. So I think, yeah.
But is there enough room for so many players to grow and sustain at the same time in India?
In India, absolutely. I think travel and tourism is so big that you always see multiple players, and you see, even in India, you see tour operators as well, right? So it's there that are really focused on these package products, for instance. So I think there's room for different type of products. You have the companies focusing purely on business customers, for instance. So there are these players that sit in these type of niches as well. Yeah.
And then lastly, what kind of trend are you seeing as far as the Indian travel tech space is concerned? Where is the industry heading?
In India?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's only at the beginning, and I think it's so nice also these 2 days that we're here to see the ambition that India has put out as to travel. That also showcases that for a country like India, it is important, and they will work on certain elements that you see in the strategy of India, like infrastructure is important for travel as well. So you see that these type of topics that are very high on the agenda, which I think only for the future can make things a lot better, and I think today it's actually small as to what it can be. So the opportunity, I think, is enormous.
Right, pleasure. Thank you so much for your time and speaking to BloombergQuint. Thank you so much.
Thank you.